Are you freaking kidding me? This. Hi, Elsie Clements here. First booktube story, and I wanted to do a little bit of experiment for myself. Are certain books really that bad? And what I mean by that is it actually worth the hate that it's given? Now, keep in mind, I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with anybody at this time or probably at all. I just wanted to see because I wanted to do a booktube video, and the book I'm currently reading is the Sirens Cove series, and that's not going to take me that long. I think even the book I just picked isn't going to take me that long because this is only like 400 something pages, and I can fly. Even when I was in middle school, I used to be able to fly through books. So I just want to see, because I remember everybody was talking about it. I got this from the library because I really don't read a lot of YA books, because some YA I just kind of shake my head and go, what the F was I even thinking? But so I picked up, oh, upside down, picked up Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I'm guessing this is the most updated cover because I've seen different covers of like an elf girl or an ethereal girl with a sword. So I'm guessing this must be the newest incarnation. I'm guessing this is what the main character is supposed to look like. So I'm gonna read it, see if it's that good or if it's really that horrible. If it's horrible, I'm probably gonna tell you it's a DNF because there are some certain things that totally irritate me about certain books. Like if you don't bother to grammatically check your book before you publish it, I'm probably gonna write it off as a DNF. Same, it's similar to the 50 Shades of Grey. I couldn't read it. I saw the movies with my sister because she loves them and I can't stand them. To me, if you can't bother to grammatically fix your book, then I don't even need to. I shouldn't spend my money on it because I know there are people out there who are probably gonna think I'm snooty about this, but if you're serious, and I'm gonna say this, I said this, should have said this on my author two page. If you're not serious about editing your work or even grammatically checking, so I know what kind of emotions you're trying to inflict from the main character, for me to understand what the main character is going through, then I'm probably gonna turn to a DNF. I'm probably gonna go, well, you didn't even bother to put in the work. And I guess it's because I have a background where most of my families are teachers, two which are no, one of them was a reading specialist, the other one's a special needs teacher, another one is an elementary school teacher, one's a high school teacher, and so on and so forth. Because I grew up in a family of people who were teachers, I guess it created a bit of a bias that I remember living with my, it's a short story. I remember living with my aunt and she had this red marker that drove me bananas. She would double check my work when I lived with my aunt in high school, and she would just take a line through and like, this is wrong, you need to fix this, put a semicolon. I just look at her and go, are you serious right now? Like, are you serious? And she goes, yes, I am serious. If you want to be a writer, you need to actually write correctly. No one's going to want to read your book. And she might have been wrong about that. I don't want to tell her that. Thank God she doesn't watch YouTube videos, but we'll see. I'm not gonna get fully into it. Now, if you like Throne of Glass, that's fine. If you hate Throne of Glass, it's fine. I personally am on the fence about YA books as it is. My book group is currently reading The Hate You Give. Um, I've read the Cinder series, Cinder, Snow. I mean, not Snow. That's Snow White. Winter, Cass. I loved Scarlet. I loved the series. I thought it was really good. A lot of people, I found out some people didn't like it because, the the revelation of who Princess Celine is and all this other stuff was there, but I knew going in it was going to be like that because the writer already said that this was a homage or some type of like basis off of Sailor Moon. And I watched Sailor Moon faithfully. I read the manga, which is completely different. And I DNF'd Crystal because if you're not going to get the animation was just, it was great at first and then ugh, afterwards. So I couldn't finish watching it, but I knew that going in. So I respect other people's opinion if they don't like, you know, the Cinder series, that's fine. I mean, I'm still gonna read it. Like, I'm eventually gonna read Renegade. Ooh, my camera went out. It's gonna focus, or are you gonna focus? Oh, there it goes. Eventually I'm gonna read Renegades. So everybody's entitled to an opinion, but I'm going to start with Throne of Glass, and hopefully this won't be a DNF. Hi, Elsie Clements here. Notice that I'm in my living room instead of my bedroom, and that's because I got a day off of work today. I actually had one yesterday, but I was taking care of monetary stuff, as most adults do. But that's better. Hopefully this sounds better. If you hear a buzzing, I do... This thing's driving me nuts. You know what? You might just have to see part of my kitchen. You might have to see part of my kitchen. I do apologize if it's a little messy in there. But, and you might be hearing a buzzing noise. And that's because I have the air conditioner blowing. It's 88 degrees outside, okay? Most of the time I try not to use the air conditioner, especially when I'm posting, because this is a corduroy mic. It does pick up everything, but it is freaking hot out there. Like, if you have kids and animals, like, especially if you have dogs, cats usually stay inside because they're smart like that. But if you have dogs, at least give them some water. I'm giving a little PSA here before I get into my booktube. Give them some water. Put the kids in the pool. Something, because it's freaking hot out here, and it's Pennsylvania. I'm in Pennsylvania. You think it wouldn't be this hot? But because I'm near the Delaware River, I'm not going to tell you where I live, but I'm close to the Delaware River, and I'm actually near a creek. It's actually hotter for me because I live near water. With that being said, let me just get into my booktube thing. This is another clip. It's been a couple days, almost a week. Usually it wouldn't take me this long to get through a book, but this book was a meh for me. I didn't connect with the main character like I thought I was. And I just glossed over the name of the book. I read, and my brain went blank for a second there, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And I read it because everybody in BookTube said this is one of the worst books I've ever read, and a YA story. And it wasn't the worst for me. It was more like because first of all, I did not like the main character, and her name is Selena Strathenheim. I don't care. This is how much I did not like this character. And part of the reason why I didn't like her is because she's cocky. You cannot be cocky to me. And I think it's because I'm older. She's this 18-year-old chick. She gets put in jail for a crime she committed because she's an assassin. And she gets whipped. She gets starved. She gets beaten. She nearly gets raped. Of course, she kills the guy. I don't think she got raped, but you can clearly tell that, she could have been. And this girl comes out, and the first thing, she gets pulled out of jail, and the first thing she's thinking is, how do I get out of this situation? I can kill him. I can do this dude. I can kill this dude. Mind you, the author has already pointed out that this chick is emaciated. She's been terribly, terribly, malnourished, and she's thinking about escaping. And I'm sitting here going, sis, if you can escape, just do it. She kept talking about for like 4, 5, 6 chapters, and it was driving me nuts how she was thinking, I can't trust nobody. I can get out of this situation. And then she gets the opportunity of a lifetime, apparently, to become the king's number one, I guess, the king's champion, which is basically you being this top assassin to go kill all these people because the king's kind of an a-hole and evil. And she I mean, at first I get it, this dude pretty much destroyed you and put you in jail. So I'm thinking, and I have to remember, I'm like 30, I'm in my 30s, and she's like 18, so I have to think about when I was 18. But I was like, sis, if you got the strength and the knowledge, get out of there, get out of there. But then they chained her, and then they're saying, you can't get out of this, and we'll shoot you on sight. And I'm like, well, deuces, dude, I'm out. Like, deuces, I'm out. You can just shoot me right now. I'm not working for nobody who just put me in jail. But I get what the writer was trying to say. She was in a situation where no matter what, she was going to end up working for the king or being compliant. But it was like her cockiness just threw me off of the story a good chunk of the time. And then the way the lore is set up, and I can tell this was the writer Sarah J. Maas's first book. And maybe she needed maybe a second, maybe before publishing, maybe a and I know there's fans out there. I know they're gonna make a Hulu series out of this. They already said it. I found out online, which I was like, okay, well maybe the people who write Hulu are gonna do better. Who knows? But, and I'm not saying Sarah J. Maas is a terrible writer. I'm not going to say that, because she did write a full story. I haven't written my full novel yet, so I can't say you suck at what you do, because I haven't written my full novel yet. In fact, I'm on my like 5th, 6th draft of a story at this point. Not draft, but like first draft, because of my, that's a whole nother story. That's why I say I can't 100% judge her 100% for what she did. I get it. You know, this is your first book. You know, you still got to flesh out your character. That's why I'm figuring probably after the first book, she probably gets better at it. But there's so many tropes on here, I think, that irritate me, that this book took longer for me to finish than I thought I would. Another thing is just, Selena, I don't know if I'm supposed to be pronounced her Selena or Kalena. She's got this wall up, but the wall comes down pretty quickly with one of the main males named Cole, who trains her, makes sure she gets fed, then she fattens up her body, and then she learns, like, she's supposedly learning how to fight, but she's supposed to be this ultimate badass, and then we turn around and find out, oh, she needs to be retrained because she's been in jail and she used a pickaxe the whole time. I'm like, your brain doesn't, I feel like I'm rambling, but I feel like there were so many plot holes. I mean, I went mad with the story because it's a story at the end of the day, and I was okay with it more than going, this story is terrible. I was going, and maybe it's because of my personal preference. I don't read a lot of young adult books. I really, really don't, because there's so many tropes in there that makes me want to throw the book against the wall. Like this whole love triangle bullcrap. I hate love triangles, because you don't see love triangles work in real life. And maybe that's me making a false accusation. I'm sure probably somebody's going to jump on me about this. But let's face it, you don't see that many people in a love triangle storyline. You don't hear about it in real life. And it takes me out the story. And I know this is a fantasy story, but that whole love triangle thing, and after finding out, because my sister, I think probably either, I checked the wiki page just to make sure that, I was pronouncing her name right, which of course Wikipage didn't tell me, but she doesn't even, and this is a spoiler, I'm gonna put in my description down below that there's some spoilers with this review, but I was like, you don't even get these two dudes, so what was the point of choosing them? What was the point of putting this love triangle storyline in there? Why can't they just be friends? Why can't, and I know there's going to be people out there that say guys and girls can't be friends, and I like the fact that Selena decided to go, you know what, even though I like you and we made out a couple times as the prince, we can't be together, it ain't going to work. Like, she understood that, but I'm sitting there going, why didn't you think of this crap 10 chapters ago? I mean, for all intents and purposes, let's say I was shipping or whatever, I would have rather had her with Cole, which I found out she doesn't even end up with him. I'd rather her be with Cole than be with Dorian, because Dorian is, oh man, I am going so off topic right now, but the whole story is about this girl who's a supposed ultimate assassin. Mind you, she's 18 freaking years old. There's no way that anybody at that age is even developed enough to be this ultimate person. And I get it, she's been trained since she was 8 years old, so she's been training for 10 freaking years to be this ultimate assassin and to be this ultimate chick, and I'm sitting there going, you haven't even developed who you are, sis, and you want to make her this ultimate character. And that's what bothers me about these ultimate chosen one storylines. I hate it. Like, stop making these teenagers the ultimate ones, because they're not. They haven't even developed who they are as a person. Then you throw them in this situation. Then you surprise when the character freaks out, or when the character goes to this ultimate breakdown because she doesn't know who she is. And to top off all the craziness in the story, we find out all this lore. Like, one of the lore is that magic, apparently, because the King Dorian the First basically tried to destroy this whole kingdom, who were like half elven, and the humans fought the Fae people, which is, that's not even a trope that I really hate, because I see in fantasy stories all the time. I really do. Like humans, and that's part of, psychologically speaking, that's part of human nature anyway. We as humans are conditioned to be scared of stuff we don't understand. And I mean, you could look up in any psychology book, you could look up any article, and it will be there. But in the context of the story, apparently there's this thing called word speech where people write these incantations and stuff happens. And in the story, there's this whole plot around this whole word speech, and you find out that magic has only been gone for 10 years. The only thing that happened was the king burnt all the books that does magic. But there are people out there who know magic, and it's only been 10 freaking years. It's only been 10 years. There's no way a whole generation of people who knew magic, even though he wiped them out. It's like that whole thing with the storyline in the series Voltron Legend of Fender I was watching. There's no way you can wipe out that many people in that short of span of time. Now, at least with the Galra, they had the initiative to go investigate and stuff and kill them. But in this particular storyline, some of the plots didn't add up. 10 years, and you expect all the magic to be gone. They say he suppressed it. And then you find out at the end that he knew magic, the king knew magic, and the duke knew magic in the first place. I'm sitting there going, this is so dumb on so many levels. I want to like this series. I really do. But there's some meh moments that held it back. Like the magic storyline. Then we find out Kalena's getting contacted by this elven queen that was part of the king's lineage from like thousands of years ago, who is trying to get Kalena to become the queen, the king's champion. Then you got Nehelenia. I keep calling her Nehelenia. Neramia, who is the only black chick apparently, and that whole conquest right there. So we find out the queen's a bigot because she doesn't like the girl. She got all these beautiful braids and she's got this gold on, and she's this mysterious girl. She knows magic. She keeps it to herself because she's smart enough to keep it to herself. She acts like she don't know nobody or speaks their language so she can get a feel what she is. I have this thing about people of character, people of color characters that are put in this role where they're like the sage or the one person that's going to help the great hopeful chosen one. And it's not the first story they've done this. Legend of Bagger Vance is the same thing. You know, there's one mysterious black helper that seems to help them. I mean, in her case, she wasn't 100% the helper, but it kind of led Selena. I'm gonna probably flip between the names. Discover what's really going on with the whole word speak thing, and I kind of appreciate that point, but at the same time, I like the fact that the only black girl just happened to be this mysterious character. Like she legit played dumb to figure out what's going on, and she pretty much has blatantly shown that she's not going to go with what the king wants her to do, which is to bow down to him. She's not going to do it, and she ultimately helps Selena win the fight at the end, and that was a triumphant moment. But I still don't like the fact that the queen's a bigot, the king's obviously evil and a bigot, and this girl's just being shut out and singled out for her skin color. And I'm like, I think the biggest thing that bothered me about it was the fact that she's the only black girl there. I'm like, and Philippa, and I'm sitting there going, there are no other black people in this entire story. It's like no description. And I think, I think part of it is my bias, where I think that diversity is needed, like severely needed in stories. You can't just say, we have black people, and not like expand on it. Why are there no more black people? Like, why are there no Asian people? We just, all we see is just checking, is Philippa, and this is the first book, so I'm going by the first book, Philippa and Neramia, but there's nobody else, and that kind of bugged me. And then and again, we go back to Kalena, or whatever the heck her name is, Kalena, I think, no, I'm gonna call her Selena, who is just cocky the whole time, and then she does this flirtation thing, and then her whole reason of doing this is so she can win and she can become the king's champion, so in 4 years she gets her freedom. But there are other ways to get your freedom. You could have, to me, she could have escaped, and she doesn't. And when she gets fattened up, and by the way, that whole thing where they say she, gains weight again, and she becomes a better she gets healthier, and then she get the whole chapter where she gets her period. I'm sitting there thinking, I could have, and maybe I need to research this. I could have sworn when you're starved like that, it takes over, not 4 months, as they're trying to say, over years for your body to go back to the way it was. And if you're fully weight, you're just getting your period for the first time out of nowhere. Now, I know when you starve yourself, and I've heard, I've read up on anorexia for a school paper once, and how you lose your period, you lose your sight, your strength, and all this stuff. They made it clear that she's still strong enough to hold this heavy pickaxe, and she was still starved. And then it took 4 months for her to get back to the body she used to have. And I'm sitting there going, I don't think that's how science works. And I think the story would have been better if they fleshed out the storyline a little more before they got to the whole final fight. And then there's that whole thing with Kane. Like, everybody knows she's Selena, and it's really, I think the whole problem with the whole Champions thing, we got all these people from left to right, and only a few of them know that she's Selena, even though she's supposed to be this total badass who came out of left field, who knows, who's supposed to have this legend. I'm like, you wouldn't know what this girl looked like. Even if she was gone in like a year, you would still know what she looks like. Or even if you don't know, and apparently they go, oh, we don't know what she looked like because she was so cool. I'm like, or she was so fast. I'm sitting there going, so it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize this girl's holding back. Kane picked it up, Knox picked it up, a couple of other people picked it up, but you're telling me no one in the court picked up the fact that this girl just was holding back the whole time, and she just happened to be a great archer and all this stuff. It was really weird. So, I want to like this story. I really wanted to like this story, but I was going more meh than anything else, because I'm going, I don't know how to explain this story, but it was an okay story for me, and I could see, like, with the various plot holes and storyline going, that I can see why people hate it. I can truly see why people hate this book. I was more meh. I hated the love triangle storyline. I hated the fact that Dorian, and that was the other thing, Dorian pissed me off, because I'm sitting there going, you're another cocky SOB. I cannot stand cocky characters, and I think it's because of the situation you're in. And we know Dorian's not supposed to be cocky. We know that. Dorian is supposed to be a prince. He probably never experienced combat before. He's never experienced hardship, and the way he comes off, and he just comes in a room like, don't knock on the door. And that's the other thing. I feel like I'm all over the place. I really do, but that whole thing, the love, and that's the other thing about the love trial. Y'all just walk into this assassin's room. She don't have nothing to, she made stuff to defend herself with. But I'm sorry, sis. If you're this good of an assassin, there's no way you don't have weapons on you at all times. If someone to walk into my room, I did not ask you for permission, you don't knock on the door, I'm throwing something at you. I'm throwing a book, I'm throwing a pillow, I'm throwing something sharp at you. I don't care if you throw my butt back in jail. You don't just walk in somebody's room and then and they go, oh, hey, what's up? And, they're supposed to make it that later on they become friends, but they walked into your room. I'm sorry, you have 4 guards at your door, and I guess, you know what? They bring up rape. They bring up molestation. They bring up sex. So they're saying, oh, well, guys do it all the time, especially Prince Dorian. I'm sitting there going, this dude's a womanizer. I don't care. I'm locking my freaking door, and I'm telling the guards they are to announce themselves when they come in my room. I don't care at this point if we're good friends. You don't just walk in somebody's door, and she's always getting caught off guard. That's the other thing. If you were this great of a freaking assassin, how's it everybody able to sneak up on your butt? How? Don't make no freaking sense. And I think I guess this is where I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon, because sometime I'm gonna start going nuts here, because the more I think about it, the more I realize how much more I don't like these characters. Cole's the only one out of all of them besides Helena and Philippa that I actually like, because Cole at least got some sense. He approaches her in a way that he doesn't really 100% startle her. But Dorian, he loves flirting with this girl, so he's going to sneak up on the deadliest assassin in his own kingdom. Or city, or what the frick ever. The only assassin gets snuck up on. She doesn't keep, and she supposedly keeps weapon on her, but sis, If you're a Greg Grave assassin, I would have stole something from the weapons thing, hid it in a place where no one could find it, and I'd be keeping that on me at all times. And I said shit, so nice try. At all freaking times. I hate her. I don't like her. She's just too cocky. She doesn't show the affinity to be an assassin. If she's got her guard up, Dorian is just annoying because, oh, I don't want to get married, but I like this girl, and I'm not going to tell my mama because, you know, my mama's crazy, or my mama's like picks whatever goes right for me. And he's a cocky SOB too, and I'm sitting there going, you don't know nothing. Like, you try to defend, and I get, you know, you're a bookwormy type of character, and I know that's what they're trying to pull off, that he's this noble prince, but if you're so freaking noble, why are you walking into the chick's room like that? How come you flirting with all the other girls, but you ain't down with them like that? What does that say about you? But we're supposed to take this as, oh, okay, he's a nice guy, but he sleeps with women. And then you got poor Cole on the freaking sidelines here going, you guys are all idiots. I'm sorry, if I was called, like, you know what? You guys are all dumb. I'm a great friend, but you need to stop. This is getting stupid. But okay, I gotta wrap it up because sometimes I'm gonna go over like 40 minutes just ranting about this book. So that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. If you want to donate more to this, I do have a coffee page that you can donate at least $3. $3 goes a long way. I have a website which I'm still working on. I mostly use it for podcasting, but for regular web stuff, I'm probably going to hire my brother or somebody to help me with this. But my website's nolanechat.com, and I'll see you guys in the next booktube review.